Welcome to the Imagine Not Being Leeds.
Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Now then, everyone, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. Just a quick shout out to start with. Little Mick Hewitt, who was a Leeds United supporter, a bit of a legend as well in the fan base, was travelling to Boston for an England game. I think it was England v Ghana via Barcelona, where he was last seen. It's not been seen now for 9 days. So if anyone knows any information regarding where Michael Hewitt is, there is a X account called LUFC Prog, LUFC PROG. If you can send them a message if you see or hear anything regarding Mick Hewitt, or leave a comment or message me and I'll pass on the information. But we're all hoping and praying as a fan base that Mick, you're okay and you're found safe and well. So yeah, just a bit of a shout out there to raise a bit more awareness. I've shared it on my X account too. You've probably seen it. If you haven't, yeah, we're all thinking of the family and his close ones right now, and hopefully, mate, you found safe and well. Right, then let's get into the Leeds Rumour roundup. So please do me a favour before we start. Please like the video, please subscribe, and please hype. You've been hyping the absolute hell out of my videos recently, and yeah, I can't even tell you how good the channel's doing because of it. So thank you from me to you, honestly. Superb support I have from you guys. Thank you so much. So we heard last night from Fabrizio Romano. I didn't really touch on it. I didn't do a video on it. I didn't think there was anything else really new in there. I suppose it's nice to see someone like Fabrizio sort of rubber stamping it that he is coming to Ellen Road. Obviously, we got told about a week ago now from the Athletic he will come in. You haven't heard anything else. We haven't seen an unveiling, which probably will come tomorrow, I'd like to think, from Leeds United. Nice to see him in the kit and the training gear and see an interview of him wearing the Leeds colours. But obviously, until you see that, you're a little bit sceptical. So it was nice to get the rubber sort of stamp from Fabrizio, but for me, it was sort of just regurgitating information we already knew. Yes, he said a 4-year deal. We knew it was going to be a long-term deal, and we knew everything was sort of finalised. We just haven't seen it from the club yet. So no massive there, but it's nice to have somebody else of notoriety sort of let us know that he is now a Leeds United player. So it's exciting times. Leeds have beaten a host of clubs. Obviously, no one really bigger than Villa as well, Champions League side. So that's been a real nice little feather in our cap. Nice to be off opposition, decent opposition. We got picked to a few transfers last season from Premier League clubs. So it's really nice to start our window off with a brilliant signing of Harry Wilson. So yeah, can't wait to see him in a Leeds shirt next season. Well, the pre-season as well, because we've got him in early enough. We'll get to see him in pre-season, which is exciting. Right then, moving on. So Zeon Suzuki, the Zeon Suzuki story, the Leeds United goalkeeper story just rumbles on and on, doesn't it? Just want to touch on Japan last night. Unbelievable effort in the World Cup for me. Unbelievable side. I think they had a 100-year plan, didn't they, Japan, to win the World Cup, and I think they're about 40 years into it, and they're going the right way. They've got some really technically gifted players. Really unfortunate when they went 1-0 up. I thought they were going to do it. Second half, Brazil came onto them and couldn't withstand the pressure. Poor Ao Tanaka. So sad to see him visibly distraught. Lost the ball in the edge of the area. That led to the Brazil goal. He can get caught out, can Tanaka, a lot like that. He can hold the ball. We did so well to win the ball back. He did it twice when he came on 78th minute. He won the ball to left of the flag of the box and won that back well, and then lost it, and then did the same at the right hand side of the box as well. Won the ball back, and then they picked his pocket. And picked off the defence, and really well worked goal. And and Japan are out, and I'm so sorry for him. Obviously, we had a keen eye on Suzuki. We had a keen eye on Ayase Ueda as well, who I thought struggled to get in game at times, but still had a decent World Cup with a couple of goals. But yeah, Suzuki, why is this important? So, to touch on last night, unbelievable performance. He had a shaky moment where he went to the back post and left, his goal open. Luckily for him, he had 3 or 4 bodies on the line that stopped the ball going in. But I thought his shot stopping were unbelievable. His reflexes, a couple of saves in there that I'd put up right up there as world-class saves. His distribution looked really good. He looked very composed. He liked to come out and, whether catching or punching, very physically demanding in his box for a 23-year-old. We know he's got a high ceiling. He's highly thought of. Like I say, I thought it was superb yesterday. But there's been a bit of news today regarding the Parma goalkeeping situation. So we know there's been a few bits floating about this morning that Suzuki wants Leeds. Leeds are in talks with Parma for Suzuki. Now he's out of the World Cup. They could really ramp up in the coming days. So we know there's some dialogue there. We know the clubs are talking and Leeds are trying to get a deal done for Suzuki. So we know that Leeds United potentially want to upgrade that number 1 spot from a Darlow and certainly from a Perry, who I would suggest would move on if this happens. But Parma have signed a new goalkeeper today. Massive news in Italy. They've signed what I would suggest is Suzuki's replacement in Giovanni De Fara. Signed from Juventus, only 21 years of age, £6 million with a 10% sell-on clause for Juventus. This has come from Fabrizio Romano. He's highly rated. He's one of the sort of best seen goalkeepers of his age, with a projection to go right to the top of the game. This is a goalkeeper they're pinning a lot of hopes on. They've got Rumour, who's young, but this guy looks like he could be the next big thing. Juventus didn't want to lose him. Looking on X in the last hour or so, the fan base is in meltdown. They did not see this happening. He was on loan at Serie B side last season, Avellino, and he actually got a senior call up for the Italian side. He got 1 cap for the under-21s and he got a senior call-up. He was an unused sub, I think, for a couple of friendlies. But he's the first player to be called to the national side for Avellino, who he was on loan at for 40 years. So getting called up to the national side when you're in Serie B is something that doesn't happen very often. And the club he was at, 40 years since I've had anyone represent the club for the national side. So this is a player that, like I say, is a very exciting player, and Parma see him as a long-term number 1 option. So 21's very young, but it looks like he's ready to come in, and everything I'm reading is to start in Serie A next season for Parma. So this really does pave the way for Suzuki. So it's only a £6 million bid. Suzuki, they're going to get a lot of money. This could be a really good deal for Parma. Decent money for Suzuki. They've got an adequate replacement who potentially is only 2 years younger than Suzuki, so they're not scared of giving goalkeepers at a young age a chance. Suzuki's been playing at Parma now, a couple of years? 21 years of age. By all accounts, he'll get his chance at Parma, and that's what he's coming for, as De Fara, to replace Suzuki. So Gianluigi Longari has reported since the news of De Fara signing, saying that Leeds continue with contacts for Zeon Suzuki of Parma. The Ducals have acquired De Fara for the certainty that Suzuki's performance in the World Cup will lead to a lucrative sale. Competition may increase because of the quality he's shown at the World Cup. So we know Villa are interested. They're looking at maybe an Emi Martinez replacement, but he's still at the club. Leeds have a bit of an open goal at the minute. If they can get the right contract and right deal and all the financials sorted with Parma and Suzuki, this could be something that Leeds could get done swiftly and quickly to prevent a side like Villa or others coming in. So, yeah, the Suzuki one, I don't think it's going to go away. The fact they've got a replacement, I think this is more than just a sprinkle of salt. I think Leeds are massively in for Suzuki, and I know Leeds really like Trafford. We said that yesterday. There's a lot of reports on Leeds liking Trafford, but Trafford would cost more than Suzuki. Suzuki could cost anything between 26 and maybe 36 million. But we'll have to see. It's going to be an expensive one, but what I've seen at the World Cup, I really like Suzuki. Really like it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Moving on, bit of a story today around Julian Brandt. So 30-year-old free agent, just left Borussia Dortmund. Sports Witness and multiple other sources since are reporting that Brandt's father and agent has been to Real Betis HQ today to offer his son services to Real Betis. So Real Betis, obviously La Liga, Champions League qualified last season, so there will be a Champions League club next season. So fantastic for them. It says that apparently Betis aren't biting, so they're sort of going around Europe trying to tout the son and their player to decent clubs. I was hoping the lure of Champions League football, maybe a little bit naive of me, wasn't going to be a primary target for Brandt. The fact that he's played all his career in Champions League and European football, playing for such a good club like Dortmund in Germany, maybe the lure of the Premier League. obviously no European football, but the Premier League, it's sort of where you want to be playing your football, really, ideal, especially these days, being the best league and, test yourself against, the best players in the world in the Premier League. So I kind of hope Brandt had just come to Leeds based on that, but like I say, a bit naive of me. But yeah, apparently Betis don't see a fit for Brandt in the system they're playing. And it looks like they've kind of left and there's nothing really come of that. There's been a lot of talks today that Brandt is still an active transfer target for Leeds United, and we're still in negotiations and still speaking to Brandt and his representatives. But I don't know how you feel about this. Obviously, Leeds isn't the top of his list, which isn't surprising, being the calibre of player that he is. But his dad and his agent are touting him out around Europe to the potential suitors that look to be European level sides. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to want to see where Brandt does end up. I'm starting to think it's not going to be Leeds United, but hey, we still hold a keen interest. We're still in for him, which it's an ambitious move. It doesn't feel like one we've just been thrown, just to sort of think, well, they tried. I think this is a legitimate player that Leeds want and are targeting and have put down a decent, lucrative offer to the player to come to Leeds. At the minute, he's assessing his options. His dad's doing his best to get him maybe a move, like you say, to maybe a bigger club. Who knows? Bet it's certainly not a bigger club, but there's a lot more sides out there that probably are. And in terms of that European calibre, can Leeds compete? Again, be really interested to see what does happen with the Julian Brandt stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Right, moving on. Pascal Struijk replacement. So let's sort of gloss over these. Lloyd Kelly, Juventus, ex-Bournemouth and Newcastle man. That came out yesterday afternoon. The Leeds have a keen interest, which has been sort of confirmed that he's on the list. Apparently, to Team Talk, these 5 that you can see in the top right corner are all on Leeds United's list. Lloyd Kelly, Nico Elvedi, Ladislav Krejci, Daniel Doki and Nathan. I got them all right. There you go, in order as well. A couple of right footers in there, in Doki and Elvedi. But you look at the calibre of player, Leeds are looking at the right players for me. Lloyd Kelly, I wouldn't go there. He's going to be a lot of money. And for me, I don't think he's better than Pascal Struijk. And you talk about 30 million quid. So I would dismiss Lloyd Kelly. I'm not a massive fan. Mixed season in Juventus. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Elvedi's one I'd like. 29-year-old, got a year left in his deal. He knows Farker, but he's a right footer, but he's a certain upgrade on Bornau and direct competition and rival for maybe a Biol and a Rodon with how vastly experienced and good Elvedi is. Krejci is always, for me, until another player comes in or Krejci signed, he's always going to be the one I assume is the number one that Leeds United are looking at. He's the player I do think Leeds sign. But again, that's just based on him being probably the longest linked player for that position. Left-footed, the most similar in profile. Similar to Pascal. Is he better? I don't think he's a mile off, but whether he's actually better, I don't know. At least if he comes in and he's at the same level, at least we haven't lost anything. My worry is any player that goes out, we have to upgrade on to keep improving. If you don't upgrade, then you're either staying stagnant or going backwards. And I don't think Krejci is a backwards signing, but yeah, leadership qualities, maybe he's got a bit more. He's captained his country. He's a leader. He's probably better at attacking set pieces. We'll have to see, but Krejci for me is number one, and there's so much talk out there, so many sources, credible and not credible, reporting that Krejci is number one for Leeds United. Daniel Doki sort of come back round again today, Union Berlin, off-contract player, superb player, would love him at Leeds United, right-footed player, but he's got a host of clubs around Europe looking at him. I think that's just come out again today because in the last 48 hours, we now know Leeds United, really do need a centre-half, not a right-footed one particularly, but Daniel Doki, again, until he signs for another club, will probably always be linked with us. And Nathan, a player I'd really like. You can see I've got Diamonde on here. No massive links to him at the minute. That was a rumour that won't go away for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a week or two ago. But similar sort of price range as Nathan. Nathan's a fantastic footballer, by the way. I'm sure he's left-footed. But you're talking 40 million quid for Nathan. And the thing is with him as well, he plays for Betis. We've just been talking about Betis being a Champions League club next season. I think he's still got a 3-year deal. I think he don't run out till 2029. Nathan's a very difficult deal to do, but there's a lot of talk of him moving away from Betis. I don't know what's happened there. Like I say, he's still got a long contract there. He's a mainstay in their side and the qualify for Champions League football. So I would have expected Nathan to stay there. And he may well do that, but he keeps getting linked with Leeds. He's been in and out of the rumour sort of mill for the last 3 or 4 weeks as Nathan, and he's appeared again, probably because we've got no Pascal Struijk staying at Leeds United. So, yeah, I'm still leaning towards Krejci for this one. I think he's the most it's sort of like the most reliable, credible sources all point to correct you. But then again, you know, I didn't think Lloyd Kelly would creep up, and that creeped up yesterday. And apparently, Graham Smith's come out and said, you know, we do hold a keen interest in a few of these players. So very interesting. They're the 5 that Team Talk have publicised today about an hour or so ago, saying these are the 5 that Leeds United are looking at. Maybe Leeds will look elsewhere. We'll have to see. You know, we Leeds sometimes they pull a rabbit out of the hat that we weren't sort of looking. The Meccas look over here and they bring someone else in we weren't looking at. But yeah, that's it for the Rumour Roundup today. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And just want to shout out again, everybody. Thanks so much for all the likes and hypes and views and stuff. Honestly, I don't know what's happening in a minute. The channel's just, yeah, everything I put out there is just well received by you guys. Like I say, the channel, I'd do it if no one watched. I'd do it if there were no financial gain. I'd do it because I just love it. And for my own mental state, I love talking about Leeds. My whole, mindset is as long as my family's okay and I've got money coming in from work, everything else is Leeds United. So, yeah, thank you so much for, like I say, being a big part of that. There is the content, football content awards as well that a lot of people have been nominating me for. So thank you for that. I'll put the link in the description again if you want to nominate the channel, Imagine Not Being Leeds, to see if we can sneak into any shortlist there for an award. Again, no pressure, don't expect anything, but yeah, I've had a lot of messages of support saying that we've entered you and good luck, and I couldn't wish for a better support from a better community. So yeah, love you all the bits. Thank you so much. Yeah, please subscribe if you're new here, like, hype, and all that good stuff, and have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday evening. Thanks so much, honestly, mean it. See you soon. Bye bye.